Hi friends and neighbors, welcome to Help Desk, the place where we answer some of life's most curious questions. Or at least we try. We call on both experts and regular folks to answer some questions that you've been wondering about. So today's question for us is, how can I continue to support local businesses, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic? That's a great question. So there are many ways that you can support local businesses right now. We're going to go through some ways that do cost some money and some ways that are completely free. So anybody can participate in these. All right, so I found this blog. It's sotosocial.com, and it is 8 ways to support small businesses for free. So we're going to talk about those first. And I'm sure you do some of these without even realizing it. So you are probably already right on track. All right, so the way number 1 is you can write a review. I know we don't we often forget to write reviews, but it actually is super helpful. If you think through choosing what business you're gonna support, and if you've looked through the reviews before, and if there haven't been enough, you haven't bought from them, that's a perfect example. So writing reviews is a great way to help support local businesses. You can tell your friends and family about the business. You can tell them through social media, you can tell them in person, and especially if it's your family or your friends that you're close with, just be like, hey, I bought this really cool product. Maybe you should check it out. Word of mouth is huge and is free for local business owners. So that's a perfect way to support them. You can follow the business on social media. So you can find their platform. Even just following them or liking their page on Facebook is huge and helps to give them benefits on kind of the social media side so that they can get more viewership. Yeah, so when an account reaches 10,000 followers on Instagram, they're allowed to attach links, which is huge as a person who runs Instagram. On YouTube, if they get 100 subscribers, they can have their own personal link. So, as a shameless plug, go subscribe to our Neighborhood Church Atlanta YouTube so that we can get to 100 subscribers and get our own personal link. Okay, back to the list. So you can engage with the business on social media. Sharing their posts on Instagram and Facebook. If you're using the product, it's really great. You can tag them in your story on Instagram. You can tweet about them. You can retweet stuff. There are so many ways that are super easy, just take a little bit of time and can be huge. If you think about, I know people share stuff all the time, and sometimes they really have found it on social media and then gone to their website and ordered a product. So great way to support local in that way. You can share about your interactions with their business on social media so that, again, just if you're at a really cool local restaurant or local coffee shop, or you get great takeout, or you order an awesome shirt from some eco-friendly company, taking a picture in the product or with the product, or just saying, wow, this food is so amazing, and then tagging them, that helps them more than you know. And it gives you good content for your personal social media. So a win-win there. And then lastly, you can sign up for their email list. It's really easy. I mean, I know we all get so many emails, but good news is you can subscribe to their email list, and then maybe it's awesome and you love it. And if not, you can always unsubscribe. So there's really no harm in doing this. Today to talk to you, I have a dear friend and colleague. His name is Kylan Pew. He is our new Director of Restorative Practice here at Neighborhood. And he also is the founder and owner of 2 small businesses. So you will hear him talk about them, but Believers Outlet and Black Seminarians Table, you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook. He shares lots of wisdom, lots of goodness with the world. So I would definitely encourage you to follow their social media and then put into practice some of the tips that we talked about earlier of how to support him. Kylan's just going to talk to you a little bit about what it's like to be a small business owner. I think it's really important to hear from the folks that are behind the scenes, and I think that helps us to be able to understand the importance of supporting these real people even more. So I will let Kylan take it away.
Hey, what's up, Help Desk? I am Kylan, the Restorative Practice Director at Neighborhood Church, and I am also the proud creator and owner of the Believers Outlets LLC and also the Black Seminarians Table. This week on our Help Desk, we'll be talking about small business ownership. And so for me, I just want to answer 3 quick questions that I was given for you all. And so number 1 is, why did I decide to be a small business owner? I am a small business owner kind of by call and by trade. And so I am what you would call a social entrepreneur. And so that is a for-profit company with a social underlying, I guess, if you would say, for the good of people and things of that nature. And so specifically the Believers Outlets is a place where you can belong, believe, and become. And I do Christian apparel and faith merchandise and things of that nature. But really, it's about advocating for the marginalized believer in church and community, as well as creating space specifically for African American millennials and Black young adults to create and explore best practices for faith and religion and all these types of things in the 21st century, as well as trying to discern and explore what does it look like to have a functioning relationship with God from our purview. And so that is kind of what it's about. I got into this really just because I have a burning passion for my peers, really, because I as well am a Black millennial. And so that's really kind of what drove me into this. It happened by accident. I actually did a concert in 2013, and at that concert, I had these awesome t-shirts that say "God works, I'm living proof." And the t-shirts kind of like took off and like took on a life of their self. And so it kind of just happened by accident. And so a lot of times you hear in business like supply and demand. And so the supply ran out, but the demand was still there. And so I began to generate these shirts and things of that nature and doing these statement pieces in order to kind of create an awareness that God works and we are all a living testimony of that. As well as I always like to say that like I am an unpublished book of the Bible. And so understanding that in our generation and our people, like that we are all have our own stories and testimonies and things of that nature. And so that's kind of what led me into being a social entrepreneur. And yeah, it's just amazing and it's awesome. I think the next question will be, what are some hardships that I've faced along this journey? And I think one of the major ones for me is a lot of times you hear how writers have like writer's block. A lot of times as a creative or a creator or a business owner, like you have a creative block where you're not, for me, like I'm not able to come up with like catchy slogans or even like building out creative content on my social media page to my community and things of that nature. So that's been a huge stumbling block that I've had to like continue to get over. I think another one of my stumbling blocks would be just the legality of things. And so ensuring that I have the proper like copyrights and trademarks, getting my official LLC status, and keeping all of those things good, keeping my books good. And so that was just a struggle for me. I do not like numbers. And so, but outside of that, that's been something for me. And I think just to get over it has just been leaning on my community and finding people who are good with these things. When it comes to my creativity, just going back to the drawing board of why I started this company. And a lot of times I go back through like my social media comments or like my DMs and stuff like that to kind of rejuvenate myself and get myself back into the mood. And the legal stuff, yeah, it was just step by step. I think for me, there was a lot of things that I just didn't know. But once I began to research and went to YouTube University, a lot of things just began to come open and join some Facebook groups, and people were just amazing and helping me make it through that process and continuing to hold me accountable. And I think one of the main things that I love about being a business owner is the ability to create. And I do like press all of my own shirts, and like I do all of that good stuff. And so for me, it's just an amazing experience to be able to create with my hands and then see those things come to life, and be able to impact people's lives in a different way, and be truly an unpublished book of the Bible in my own little way, and just impact people's lives and share God's word through fun t-shirts and just all of those things. And so hopefully this helps you. I'm always willing to answer more questions and to talk to you all about my small business journey and the ups and downs. And just remember, there's no such thing as an oversaturated market. If God gave you the vision, if you have the passion for it, there is most definitely room for your vision in this world, because God made room for you. I hope you enjoyed this help desk segment. Thanks for having me, Michelle.
You can see why we all love him so much. Thanks so much, Kylan, for sharing all of that wisdom, for sharing your experience. And you can reach out to Kylan at any point, and he would be happy to chat with you. So I know this can be a lot, but really I would encourage you to let it be a fun thing. Maybe you and your family, if you've already been taking out from certain restaurants, maybe you pick 4 weeks where you choose a different local restaurant and get to support a different local restaurant each week. There's so many ways that you can kind of plug in and make this just a fun part of your life. So I would encourage you to continue shopping small, supporting local, and all that you can. All right, now it's time for the things you never thought you needed to know, but now are glad you know. And today I'm going to talk to you about national holidays. I know we all have probably seen these like random national holidays. I love Googling them sometimes and just like wondering, is today National like drink coffee out of a cornucopia day? Tomorrow might be National eat popcorn out of a baseball helmet day. But I do have some facts pulled from the internet that September is National Happy Cat Month. So woohoo, cat lovers. I don't know if your cat is not happy if they get to celebrate this month. So maybe that's something to look into. But today, September 16th, 2020, well, September 16th every year, it is, there are 6 different national days. So I'm just gonna read them to you, and then you can do what you want with this. So today is National Play-Doh Day, National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day, National Guacamole Day, National Working Parents Day, National Step Family Day, and Mayflower Day. The more you know. I might treat myself to some guacamole tonight. All right, friends and neighbors, thanks so much for joining us today. Keep being bold and brave enough to ask big questions and ask for help in this world that can feel overwhelming and chaotic. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.